Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to today's lesson. As you can see here on the screen, the topic that we're going to be talking about today is a self-critique essay that you're going to be working on for the next little bit in our journalism class. Now, you have a few different things posted for you on Google Classroom to help you with this project, but since I'm not in class today or tomorrow, I did want to take just a second to go through some of this information with you just to make sure that we understand exactly what is expected of us. So I am starting on the document that is the directions. You guys have access to this on Google Classroom. So after you watch the video, if you need to, you are more than welcome to pull up this document and take a closer look yourself. But as it says, you are going to be writing a 4-paragraph essay. I'm going to say that one more time. It is going to be a 4-paragraph essay. And the purpose of this essay is to critique your own My World project. So you guys know over the last couple of weeks, we worked on our My World slides. Some of you chose to create a Canva presentation. Some of you guys chose to do a Google Slides presentation. We took some time to critique some of our peers' presentations, and we've also taken a moment to critique our own presentations. And so now essentially what we're doing is combining all of that together again into a 4-paragraph essay. The purpose of this essay is going to help you reflect on your creative choices, use your photography vocabulary. So I'll go ahead and say now, and I'll be reminding you throughout the rest of this video, you should have your photo journal front and center and be flipping through your notes as you're working on this, because I am going to be expecting to see some of our vocabulary that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks in your final product. And we are going to be learning from both our own perspective of our work and then our peer feedback as well. We are going to dive in and talk really specifically about what I'm looking for in each paragraph, but this gives you kind of just a general overview of what I'm going to be looking for. Your first paragraph is going to be your introduction paragraph, just like our on-demand essays. We're starting with an introduction. Paragraphs 2 and 3, you can think about those like your body paragraphs. Paragraph 2 is going to focus on you discussing your 2 strongest photos, while paragraph 3 is going to focus on your 2 weakest photos. And then paragraph 4 is going to essentially be your conclusion paragraph, where you're going to reflect on what you learned through this project. Down at the bottom of the screen, I do have the rubric that I'm going to be using to assess you. We're not going to look at the whole thing, but we are going to be looking at our different categories and what it's going to take to get full credit in each category. First is going to be your content and reflection. I am going to be looking to see if you have been thoughtful about your analysis of your photos, both your strongest and your weakest photos. And I'm also going to be looking to make sure that you include a little bit of information from the feedback that you got from your peers as well. And we'll talk about how that's going to look here in just a minute. Use of photography vocabulary. This one is very important to me. I want you to make sure you're incorporating our elements of photography like line, shape, color, all of those things, but also our components of composition that we talked about, like the rule of thirds and things like that. So again, referring back to your notebook and to your notes that we've taken since we've started our photojournalism unit is going to be very important. Organization and structure. As long as you follow this 4-paragraph format that I've provided for you, you're going to be just fine in that category. Evidence from peer feedback. Again, I'm going to be looking to see that you are referencing comments that were given to you by your peers in your essay. And then, of course, your grammar and mechanics, making sure we have all of our spelling done correctly, all of our grammar, all of our punctuation, making sure we do simple things like indenting our paragraphs is going to be important as well. You guys are going to be typing these essays, so there's really no excuse to not have all of our words spelled correctly. All right, so this is the first document again. This is just a simple overview of the directions. The next thing that we're going to be looking at, again, this is posted on Google Classroom, and this is an example essay. Understand that you should not be copying and pasting this and using it as your own essay, okay? Instead, what you should be doing is using this if you get stuck and you're like, what should this look like? How should I do this? How could I start that sentence? This is your reference for that. Understand that I have looked at this very carefully, and if it sounds like yours is suspiciously similar to this, then you're probably going to have to do some rewriting, okay? So in paragraph 1, like we just discussed, this is your introduction paragraph, and I've given you a checklist of things that I'm looking for in this paragraph. So first, you're going to introduce your project and your project theme, which is my world. You're going to describe to me what your world means to you. Does your world involve spending time with your family? Is it more about your hobbies? Is it more about spending time at home, being with your friends? Tell me what your world means to you. Explain the parts of your world that inspired your project. So did you take pictures mostly at home? Did you take pictures mostly at school? Did you take pictures a little bit of both? Also talk about what kind of emotions or what were you trying to communicate through your pictures? And then you're going to end your paragraph with a clear statement about what you hope people see and understand from your collection of photos. So if we were going to combine those things together, this is what that might look like. My World photo project shows the people and places that make up my everyday life. I wanted my photos to capture the calm and simple moments that matter most to me, like spending time with my dog or walking around my neighborhood. My world means feeling comfortable and connected to what's around me. My goal was for my audience to see that beauty can exist in ordinary things if you take time to notice them. Okay, one big difference that I want to go ahead and point out here, especially if you have me for language arts, when I've talked about a lot of the writing that we've done in language arts, I have encouraged you all to avoid using personal pronouns, saying things like I, me, and my. That is totally off limits here. Like you can say I, me, and my as much as you want in this essay because you are critiquing your own personal photograph. So if that was maybe something that was a little odd to you, I wanted to go ahead and clear that up now. After your introduction paragraph, you're going to move into your paragraph that identifies your 2 strongest photos. So step number 1, again, is going to be to choose out of your 5 photos which 2 you think are the strongest. And keep in mind, you'll be able to pull from your peers' feedback, what they said about your photos, but you're also going to be able to pull from your own personal opinion. Give me an explanation for what you feel makes those 2 photos your strongest photos. And as you're giving me that explanation, talk about the things like the emotions or the ideas that you were trying to communicate in your photo. This is one of the places where you may choose to cite some evidence from your peer feedback. Remember, that is something that I'm going to be looking for when I'm grading your essay. So this would be a great place to pull in that peer feedback. Make sure, like we've discussed, that you are using your photography vocabulary, having your photo journal open and looking at that vocab. And then, of course, you're going to end with a concluding sentence that wraps up your thoughts. So here's what that might look like. My first strong photo is photo 1, my dog by the window. I used the rule of thirds, so there we're pulling in some of our vocabulary, by placing my dog off to the side so the sunlight could highlight his face. The warm light and soft texture of his fur create a peaceful feeling. One of my peers commented that this photo immediately caught their attention because of the contrast between the bright sunlight and the dark shadows. I agree that the lighting makes the picture stand out. My second strong photo is photo 2, my sneakers on the sidewalk. I took it from an interesting perspective, again we're tying in some of that vocabulary, by holding the camera above my shoes while standing on a cracked sidewalk. The lines in the sidewalk act as leading lines, drawing the viewer's eyes towards the center. A classmate said that this photo was best captured the theme, my world, because it feels like I'm showing the viewer exactly where I walk every day. I like how this picture tells a story about movement and daily life. Paragraph 3 is going to be very similar to paragraph number 2, but instead of talking about your 2 strong photos, you are going to be focusing on your 2 weakest photos. So again, you have the option to look at your feedback from your peers to choose those 2 weak photos, or you also have the option to just choose yourself. Again, very similar format. You're going to identify those 2 photos. You are going to explain what you think makes those photos your weakest photos. And then this part's a little bit different. Talk about how you could have improved those photographs. This is another place you may choose to cite some evidence from your peer feedback. You're also going to be using your photography vocabulary throughout the paragraph and then ending with a concluding sentence. When we do that, it might look something like this. My third photo, photo 3, my desk at night, is one of my weakest. I tried to capture the glow from my computer screen, but the lighting ended up being too dark. The objects on my desk look blurry and the background is cluttered. A peer suggested using a lamp or natural light next time so the photo doesn't look so dull. If I could retake it, this would be a great way to tie in how you could improve the photograph, a great sentence starter. If I could retake it, I would fill the frame more and remove the distractions behind my desk. My fourth photo, photo 4, the park bench, also needs improvement. I took it from far away, so the main subject, which is the bench, feels lost in the picture. My classmate pointed out that the horizon cuts through the middle of the photo, which makes it feel unbalanced. I think moving closer and using the rule of thirds would help the bench stand out. I would also adjust the angle to make the composition more interesting. Last but not least is going to be paragraph number 4, which is your overall reflection and conclusion. You're identifying what you learned through this project. To do that, we have 3 simple check boxes here. Explain what you learned about photography while completing this project. Reflect on how your photography skills have improved through this project. And then you're going to end with one final statement about your project and what it says about you as a person or as an artist. When we do that, it might look something like this. Creating this project taught me how important light, perspective, and planning are when taking photos. Looking at my peers' projects helped me see how small choices, like where you place your subject, can completely change how a picture feels. I also learned that it's okay if not every photo turns out perfect. What matters is understanding how to improve. Next time, I will pay more attention to background details and take extra shots from a different angle. My World project shows that my life is full of quiet, meaningful moments, and photography helps me capture and appreciate them. Last thing that's going to be on Google Classroom, and this is where your work is actually going to come in, is a blank outline. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side, it's broken down by paragraph, and you see the same check boxes that you have on the example critique. And so you're going to use these check boxes along with the feedback that you gave yourself and your peer feedback to go ahead and start typing your essay. You're going to be typing it over here in paragraph form and the empty boxes on the right hand side. You guys are going to have the whole class period today to work on this. Tomorrow, to be perfectly honest, guys, I'm not 100% sure at the moment that I'm creating this video how the field trip is going to impact what you're able to do on this project. So if we need to extend this into next week, we certainly can do that. But I do expect you to be working hard and to get as much done as you possibly can with the time that you have in class. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you all back in class next week.